In this video, we will discuss the corrective action response associated with government surveillance. A healthy part of any system, including an Earned Value Management System, EVMS, is regular review and surveillance by both those who operate within the system, the contractor, and those customers who rely on information from the system to manage programs. The DCMA and the DCAA have the responsibility to conduct surveillance for all Department of Defense (DoD) contract efforts that require earned value, regardless of whether a validated system is required. Similar guidelines exist for those agencies that do not use the DCMA for surveillance, such as the Department of Energy. Normal results of system surveillance and program reviews are findings or issues discovered during the review. The findings are usually documented in Corrective Actions Requests, CARs, and Discrepancy Reports, DRs. Often, the DR form is used to identify the finding, which is delivered to the contractor in the CAR form. The current guidance used by the DCMA for conducting surveillance is the Standard Surveillance Instruction, SSI, which can be found on the DCMA Guidebook. In addition to system surveillance, the DCMA EVMS Center conducts compliance or validation reviews that may result in corrective actions required by the contractor. Because of a desire to standardize across its reviewing organizations and the reduction in resources available to conduct on-site reviews, the DCMA has established predefined success criteria and testing metrics to evaluate the compliance of each guideline using data submitted by the contractor. This does not change the components of a compliant EVMS. It merely adjusts the priority of the review steps required for a compliance rating. Regardless of the method, a complete EVMS should consist of a set of procedures that are compliant with the EIA-748 Guidelines and followed by the contractor organization, system output or data that is valid, reliable, and auditable. This data will have demonstrable integrity and compliance to EVM requirements. A disciplined workforce that uses the EVMS to manage programs and accurately inform the customers of current status, future conditions, and management decisions. Discrepancy reports are documented whenever issues are discovered during the system review that involve non-compliance with contract requirements, including the EIA-748 and the Data Item Descriptions, DID, for the Contract Performance Report, CPR, or the Integrated Project Management Report, IPMR, or the Integrated Master Schedule, IMS. The finding is documented in a discrepancy report, DR, which identifies the EVM process group, organizing, scheduling, accounting, etc., and the specific guideline regarding the finding. Additional information might include the source of the issue, such as the CAM name, control account title, or the process document that was reviewed. The DCMA or the DCAA may choose to communicate the DRs in the form of a CAR. The severity of the findings determines the level of a CAR issued. Level 1. For more minor issues that require no special management attention to correct, usually directed to the working level personnel of the contractor. Level 2. For non-compliance that is systemic in nature and could adversely impact cost, schedule, or performance if not corrected. A Level 2 CAR may be the result of Level 1 issues that are found across several programs or involve several CAMs. They are issued to the contractor's management level responsible for the process with a copy to the administrative contracting officer, ACO. Level 3, for non-compliance where cost, schedule, technical performance, resources, or management process issues have unfavorably affected program performance and have not been corrected. These may also be issued when the corrective action plans associated with Level 2 cars have been unsuccessful. In addition, non-compliance with any of the 16 foundational guidelines will immediately be classified as a Level 3 car. Level 3 cars are issued to the contractor's top-tier business manager at the site where the discrepancies were noted. This car level may trigger other reviews, such as a review for cause or a compliance review, which could result in a suspension of the contractor's EVMS validation. Level 4 generally results from an escalation of a Level 3 car, but issued to the contractor's corporate level. They are often used to advise the contractor of contractual penalties, such as payment withholds, termination for default, suspension, etc. Both Level 3 and 4 cars may result in a business system withhold. DFARs 252.242-7004 identifies 6 business systems that may result in payment withholds if significant deficiencies are found. These are accounting, earned value management, cost estimating, material management, accounting, property management, and purchasing. Deficiencies found in a single business system may result in up to a 5% withhold. However, if there are multiple business systems cited for deficiencies, the withholds may be as much as 10%. At this point, the submittal of a quality and timely corrective action plan, CAP, and following through with implementation of the actions is critical. If the contractor submits an acceptable CAP within 45 days of the contracting officer's CO intent to withhold payments, and the CO believes the contractor is implementing the plan, the withholds may be reduced to 2%. However, if at any time the CO determines that the contractor is not following through on the corrective actions, the payments may be increased to 5%. When the CO determines that corrective actions are implemented and are expected to correct the significant deficiencies, the CO will discontinue withholding payments and release any payments previously withheld. Previously withheld payments are not released when the withhold is reduced from 5% to 2%, only when the corrective actions are proven to correct the findings. In Part 2 of our discussion, we will discuss the importance of the contractor developing a disciplined, standardized approach for responding to a corrective action response. This not only helps ensure that the responses are complete and contain compliant corrective actions, but that they also represent the position of the entire contractor team. Prior to developing a corrective action in response to a Corrective Action Request, CAR, the first step is to ensure that both parties, the contractor and the review team, have a mutual understanding of the finding. This also serves to screen those findings that may have been the result of a misunderstanding with the data or an incorrect statement from a member of the contractor's team. It is also recommended that DRs, CARs, with similar or duplicative findings be grouped together so that a single corrective action plan, CAP, can be used to address the issue. Once a mutual understanding has been reached on the corrective actions, the contractor must then begin the process of correcting or mitigating the identified issues. When there are a significant number of findings that are to be corrected, the establishment of a senior management review board is a recommended method for managing the process. The roles of the board are: ensure a CAP is developed and supported by a structured CAR-DR resolution process. Assign an individual from the responsible organization to lead the corrective action efforts. Review the proposed schedule for the CAP and monitor progress towards CAP closure. Review and approve all CAR/DR root cause assessments and proposed corrective action, including the closure criteria. Serve as the primary point of contact with a customer for CAR/DR resolution and closure. Attempting direction at this stage is to allow for a quick fix of the identified issue. This may be acceptable for just fix it types of findings such as typos, formula errors, incorrect data runs, etc. But most findings require a more in-depth approach to ensure that the underlying drivers of the issue are being addressed. Tools such as the 5 Whys and the Ishikawa fishbone diagram are excellent methods for identifying the root causes. These tools and processes are extremely effective in uncovering the sources of the problem. A customer review team often samples a subset of CAMs, processes, or data in its review because of a limited amount of time or resources. It is often the case that a more thorough root cause analysis conducted by the contractor team will uncover additional issues that need to be addressed and corrected. While it is important that all issues are corrected or mitigated, it is, however, the contractor's choice to allow visibility into those issues that were not discovered by the customer review team. A single DR or CAR issued by a customer team may have numerous corrective actions identified in the solution process. Often, a single problem may have corrective actions that entail changes in the processes, training, tools, or management approach, or any combination of these. One important benefit of including senior management in the CAP review process is the capability to reach beyond the owners of a particular CAP to influence other stakeholders in the organization who have the responsibility to incorporate corrective actions, or who may be impacted by the solutions being identified. It is critical that verification methods, objective measures, metrics, artifacts, and evidential products are identified that will verify that the corrective actions are effective. This includes any exit criteria for any activities in the CAP Integrated Master Schedule, IMS, which is a schedule network that contains all the detailed work packages, including activities and milestones, and planning packages to support the events, accomplishments, and criteria of the Integrated Master Plan, if applicable. The CAP Review Board is responsible for reviewing the status of the exit criteria and verifying that the required objective measures have been satisfied. A critical component of any project, including corrective action development and implementation, is a detailed IMS containing the project scope and the required dates of completion. There should be a unique IMS for each CAP that includes root cause analysis, changes to processes, tools, training, and other required system adjustments, management review and regular team meetings, responsibility assignment for each activity, development of products and artifacts, which will demonstrate effectiveness, validation and verification steps with closure criteria. Resource loading the IMS is an important process, as it communicates to the management team the required personnel to accomplish implementation of the corrective action plans, and can serve as a commitment on its part to support the process until closure. If there is a lack of available resources available to support the process, this may impact the completion dates established for the corrective actions. All tasks should be logically networked, with predecessors and successors, without any constraints. Reviewing the CAP IMS and the accomplishment status is a critical role of the CAP Review Board. While some corrective actions may be straightforward responses to simple findings, it is important to reach a mutual agreement of the CAP approach prior to implementation. Often the customer's approval of the CAP is a required step before proceeding. Important in this agreement is consensus on the artifacts and data sets that will be delivered, along with the timing of the deliveries. One topic that may need to be addressed with the customer review team is a cutoff date for data corrections. Occasionally, a corrective action is delayed until a new contract modification is implemented or a new contract baselined before a correction can be implemented and verified. These conditions need to be agreed upon with the customer prior to proceeding. One path of the escalation of a CAR to Level 4, and possibly the introduction of business system payment withholds, is the failure to successfully implement an agreed-upon corrective action plan. Many organizations discover that the actual implementation of the approved corrective actions is the most difficult part of the process. Sometimes a successful plan will include interim modifications or fixes in the short term, with long-term changes identified as well. It is important to have CAP solutions that not only mitigate the findings, but can also be implemented in an acceptable period of time. When the issuer of the CAR is satisfied that the contractor's corrective actions are appropriate to prevent reoccurrence of the non-compliance, and the solutions have been verified to be effective, the contractor will be notified that the CAR is considered closed. Even after closure, the areas identified as needing improvement are often targeted for periodic follow-on reviews. So it is important that management attention is maintained to sustain the corrective action. A well-organized and disciplined internal surveillance program is often the best safeguard against future discrepancy reports.